Hi everyone, it's good to see you again. So this topic is very important to me because I have noticed a trend where a lot of people who are talking to me say they will not be able to take the USMLE because of the cost. Some people say they did not start early because they were thinking about the cost. There are some people who want to work and save a lot of money before they even start the journey. And I've also talked to some people who have spent some money that they should not spend in ideally. That is why I'm doing this video. I hope you watch to the end and you take a very important cues from this video. Also share with anybody who this video might be important to. So when I was taking the USMLE, especially step one, I spent some monies, and I'm going to use this video to help you to cut down cost on the USMLE. Now, anything that I'm going to say in this video, I want to issue a disclaimer that I do not have any of the things that I'm going to mention, and so nobody should contact me and say, where can I get this, or ask people who are taking the USMLE. I am not taking the USMLE at this time. And also I paid for all the resources that I'm going to talk about here, so it's up to you to make that decision for yourself. Now, the first thing that I am going to talk about is how to get study materials for less, right? So first of all, before you start purchasing any material at all for the USMLE, you want to talk to people who have taken the USMLE already or are studying for it. You want to ask them for free versions of such materials so that you don't have to go pay for it. For example, I know NBME says do not make a copy or share the information in the NBME with anybody, or they have a copyright, right? But you hear some people say, okay, there's a free version, there's an offline version, and you can take advantage of that. Boards and beyond videos, also some people have the free versions out there, and if you talk to them and they can give you, hey, it saves you cost, right? Now, one thing that you can do, especially for boards and beyond, is if after you have used the free version and you match successfully into residency, you can give them some money back. You can just pay some money to them, and they have that program where people who want to show appreciation for the materials. So let's say you did not have the money up front when you were studying, but after you go into your residency program, you took your first salary, so you want to just show some appreciation to them, and it's good. A lot of people have done that also, so I encourage you to also do that if you are someone who is using their free version, because he puts in a lot of hard work into it. Now, UWorld is another thing. Those people, some people who are not able to afford the UWorld Q Bank from the beginning, even though it also says do not share the information, do not take screenshots of the questions. I still know that people still have the free versions out there. So if it's something that will work for you, try to look for it, but be careful. Do not tell them that I told you, because I have no right to be telling you this thing at this point, and it's at your own risk. Now, the next thing is that when you are subscribing for UWorld, you can save a lot of money on that, because if you subscribe for a longer duration, you tend to save money. Let's say you started studying for USMLE Step 1 and you were thinking that you can write your exam within 6 months, right? Within 6 months. So you started studying. And so you subscribe for 6 months of UWorld, and 6 months of UWorld costs $479 as of now, right? But 1 year costs $559, right? So in this case, $559, if you do the math, you are going to, even though you pay $559, If by the end of 6 months you are not able to take your step 1, you will have to pay another $479 for another 6 months, right? But if you went straight to pay for 1 year, then you save almost $400 if you did pay it for 1 year subscription. So I would advise you to pay for a longer duration. So 1 year is always cost effective, right? Now, if you are studying and then you feel like you need, let's say, a short time to study for the exam, that is different. Like, let's say you've been studying already and you just need like maybe some 3 months, is different. But if you are someone who does not know when you will take your exam, then kindly go for 1 year subscription of UWorld from the word go, because most people say they can study USMLE in 6 months, but they end up using 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years. So be mindful of that. Very, very important. You take note of that. Now, Pathoma videos. I've seen that some people talk about the free version, the offline version of Pathoma videos as well. So it's also something that you can ask people for. If you find it, it will be good for you. Don't forget to pay them back in the future when you make your first salary. Now, Amboss also has this free subscription where I think you can, the first 5 days is free. So one thing that I was doing was that because the first 5 days is free, I make sure I do a bunch of questions within that 5 days of subscription, and that is helpful. Now, going forward, Amboss also has some scholarship program that you can apply for if you need Amboss QBank, and they give that scholarship based on merit and also need. So you can write an email to Amboss and tell them why they should give you a scholarship for their QBank, and they can give you up to 6 months and even 1 year of their Amboss QBank. So it's something that you can also take advantage of. So these are some of the things. Now, let's go to the next point. The next point is about when you want to decide to register for USMLE Step 1. Now, for USMLE Step 1, there is a form called 186, right? There are other forms too. Make sure that you are talking to the right people, and if possible, talk to ECFMG directly so that you know exactly what you are paying for. When I started Step 1, I spoke with someone who told me to download a different form. I paid for that form, I sent it to ECFMG, and they told me that is not the right form. So I had to pay for 183 or 186 differently. So I paid twice just to get my information verified. Now, the next thing that I'll talk about registration is that if you know that you are not ready for the exam, do not start the USMLE application process. Don't pay for it yet. You can get the ECFMG ID, the USMLE ID ready, but don't make payment. Do not choose your dates until you are passing your NBMAs, because this is the reason. The reason is that if, say, you select, let's say, a date within 6 months to take your exam, and you have paid for it, you have paid for your exam, you selected your date, and you actually needed about 1 year to prep, by the time you are ready for your exam, you would have lost your money, because they allow you to only extend your triad or the eligibility period once. So if after extending you don't have the chance to extend again, so you lose your money and you will have to register again. So I advise people to make sure that they are passing their NBMEs and they are sure that they are going to pass the USMLE within the shortest time before they go ahead and book their triad or their eligibility period, or simply put, before you register for the USMLE exam. So this is another way you can save money. I know lots of people who have lost their money because they are not ready for the exam. Don't be trapped. Don't rush. Don't pay the money before you start prepping for the USMLE. Now, let's go to the next point. I hope these points are really helping somebody. If this is being helpful to you or insightful, please pause and like this video, subscribe, share with someone, because I have loads of good information that I'll be sharing on this channel. So I've talked about that. Now, the next thing that I'll talk about is try to plan ahead. Okay, plan ahead of like the whole process. So say if you are going to apply for residency, one way that you can save money is to work on your documents ahead of time, because if you wait until the final month or the final week before you are chasing the doctors for your letters of recommendation, then you will have to be traveling, long distance to make things happen. Like, for example, one of my clinical rotations that I did, like I needed to travel far to Chicago to chase the doctor to get the LOR. But if I had done that ahead of time, if I had emailed him ahead of time, then I didn't have to go in person. But because it was just within 2 weeks and he was not replying to my messages, I had to drive down there and I spent a lot. Imagine if I even took a flight, then it would have been more expensive. So I had to drive like about 1,000 miles, and I spent a lot of days on a lot of time. I spent time, I had to buy gas. That was the cheaper version for me. But that day when I was checking the flights, it was about $500, and that would have been an extra cost to me. So try to work on your letters of recommendation ahead of time. Now, also try to do your clinical rotations ahead of time. Don't wait until the last minute before you are looking for clinical rotations. You will end up paying for some of the clinical rotations. But if you look for free ones early, then you have enough time to get the experience and also your letters of recommendation from them. Doing a free clinical rotation is a way to save money. Some clinical rotations are paid. You have to pay. You have to pay for it. I don't know if that is legal, but yeah, people pay for clinical rotations. And if you get the free ones, then you save the cost of paying for the clinical rotation. One of them that I can talk about that is free is Heart and Vascular Institute in Michigan. And if I hear of another one, I would let y'all know. Also try to write your personal statement ahead of time. If you're able to write your personal statement ahead of time, like when you start studying for step 2, start putting down your personal statement. Because if you wait until the last minute of application for residency, what will happen is that you end up needing help from people to write your personal statement for you, right? So try to get it early. I know people pay for it. Actually, that's why I'm talking about that. People pay for someone to write their personal statement for them. So if you are able to write it early, then you write it yourself, right? But if you wait until last minute, you are going to end up needing help, and you will pay a few dollars for your personal statement to be written for you. So take note of these points. Yeah. Another thing that we can save money on is research work and publications. So there are some research programs and some organizations here, especially in the US, where students can join, and then you have to pay money to them because it's a formal thing, and they join and then they pay money, and then they're able to do some research work, and also are able to get some publications so that they can show on their residency application. So one way that we can save money on research work is, and also to avoid some of these research organizations, is that as early as possible, if you are in your medical school, first year, second year, third year, you've completed, find senior colleagues or find your colleagues who are doing research work. If you are in school, you can join your tutors, who are doing research work. Join them, let them mentor you. Make sure that you help them so that they fix your name on their publications. That way you'll build a portfolio for yourself rather than waiting for the last minute to join a research program that would end up charging you a lot of money. And so if you do some of these things, you can really help yourself to save money on research publications, and also, like, during the application for residency, I need to mention this because there are some programs out there, or also individuals who think they can help you prep for interviews. So they'll end up like doing an interview for you or interview prep for you at a cost, right? They can charge us up to like $1,000. So it's another thing that if you are able to say, if you're able to get some of your colleagues who have also matched, like, you all can do, exchange, like you interview each other, and you can also watch some interview videos from YouTube to prep yourself. I've also done a video on some of the questions that you can ask during interviews. You can check my channel for some of those videos so that you better prep yourself and you save money. If you are someone who is getting a lot of interviews, say like about 10 invites, then you don't need anyone to prep you, because by the time you go through the first 5, you would have been experienced in interviewing with some of these residency programs. So that is one way that you can also save money. Be careful, because there are a lot of people out there who just want to take advantage of the desperate situation that we find ourselves in, getting close to when it's getting close to residency interview. So just be careful of whatever comes your way, and make sure you ask questions. Always ask questions before you make any payment to anyone. So these are the points that I have for you in this video. Kindly subscribe. If you know any other method that you can use to save money on the USMLE, I would really appreciate that you share it in the comment. Also, try to comment on this video. It's really helpful to me. It encourages me to bring more videos to help people out, so thanks for watching this video. Share this video with someone that it might help. Don't keep it to yourself alone. And I want to tell you that money should not be the limitation, because you can actually save a lot of money if you are meticulous on your expenditure. I hope this video is helpful. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.